Welcome, everybody. So today I'm going to tell you about my experience so far with the Sophi machine. We've had the machine at our institution for about 6 months now. So as Dave said, my name is Daniel Cherfan. I'm based out of Beirut, Lebanon. I work at the Beirut Eye and ENT Specialist Hospital. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of a background. Our hospital is a small privately run hospital. We are dedicated to ophthalmology and ENT. So we basically provide a facility for our colleagues, much like yourselves, to come over as a surgery center and to have their surgeries done with a dedicated ophthalmology OR as well as ophthalmology equipment and very well-trained staff. So we do over 6,000 cataracts a year and we cater to over 50 surgeons. So what I'd like to talk about today is why we decided to adopt the Sophi machine, how it works for our setup, and our experience with the machine so far. And also some of the different features that you will encounter when you use this machine. So as I mentioned, we cater to over 50 to 60 surgeons. So the demand for having state-of-the-art technology and the latest machines is very high at our institution. So we have to keep everybody happy. So we have to have the machines that work best, the most efficiently, and work the best for our setup. So other than the specifications of the machine, you can see that it's very well designed and elegantly designed to fit in a small space. Our operating theaters are not very large. So it has this, there's a picture of me operating with it next to me. And as you can see, it fits there very nicely. Another important feature is that it's very easy to set up and it has a very easy user interface. So when I speak to my staff, when they are setting it up, they say we have no problems, it's quick. The turnover at our institution is very fast. So it has to be easy for them to do that. And it does provide that. Another major thing for us is the durability. It is a very durable machine. We've had no issues so far in the last 6 months. And even more importantly for us, and this might apply to some of your institutions, we have a day pack. So you can put the day pack in there and use it for the rest of the day. You change the tubing and you sterilize the handpiece, but it also cuts down on turnover time. And thanks to the vacuum system, sterility is not an issue. We haven't had any cases of endophthalmitis or TAS, and it really helps us with our flow. So what were my first impressions of the machine? As a surgeon sitting there, you can see I have the machine right next to me. Just looking at it, the interface, very easy to figure out what's going on. The color schemes, the size of the font, all of that, everything's right in front of you. And it's very, very simple. The handpiece ergonomics, comparable to the rest, very easy to use, very light handpiece. You won't have any issues with that. But the true difference that you'll notice when you use the Sophi machine from your first case, I guarantee it, is the anterior chamber stability. It is an extremely stable anterior chamber. And you can also switch between your pumps without having any changes in the anterior chamber stability. I'm going to show some cases when I do that, and you'll notice how safe it is and how predictable the machine becomes. Just like changing to any new device or any new machine, there is a learning curve, but I assure you it is a short learning curve, and you can rest assured that you can do your surgeries quite safely. So anterior chamber stability and predictability, the two things that are going to make you fall in love with the machine very quickly. So how I manage my surgeries, I'm going to talk about this as I show my videos. But before we get into the actual surgical videos, I want to have just a quick word about the HASA optic instruments that I've been using. I discovered these instruments at ESCRS. And what you can do is you can customize a pack that they send to you. It's a sterilized pack with customized instruments that you've picked out of their catalog. So I exclusively use these instruments now. These are our anterior segment customized pack with a speculum, a Y manipulator that also has a chopper on it. We have the scissors, the 0.12 forceps, and the Utrata forceps. So I cannot say enough about these instruments. I use them on every surgery, and they are very, very precise and easy to use. So we promised you some cases, so we're going to go right into the cases. I'm going to talk to you about some of the different features of the machine that I use while doing my surgery. So these are some of my very first surgeries using the machine. And I am a vitreoretinal trained surgeon, but the retina will not make an appearance, I promise. So this is just going to be about cataract. So I'm used to using a Venturi system. So the first thing I did is I told them, set it up in Venturi pump with the regular pulse settings, and let's see how it does. So here I'm just showing you those Utrata forceps I talked to you about, HASA optics. Very, very nice and easy to use. So in this case, pretty standard case, just to show you what the machine can do on the most standard settings. So this is in pulse mode, as far as the phaco goes, with a Venturi pump. So I generally adopt a stop and chop technique. And here you can see the machine has excellent holdability and it has a very good followability. So this is real-time surgery. I assure you, as a retina surgeon, I put my foot down on the gas all the way. I'm going full vacuum, Completely stable anterior chamber with a Venturi pump. No concerns there. I have my chopper there to protect like most of you do. By the third or fourth surgery, you won't even be doing that anymore. So this is with the standard. How about those of you who do a divide and conquer technique and are used to using a peristaltic pump? So I go ahead and switch here to my divide and conquer technique. And in this cases, I was just testing out what the machine can do. Again, these are some of my very first cases, and you can see no change there in the stability of the anterior chamber. You have very good followability on the tip of the phaco. And here, watch the holdability. You just pull it right to your wound. Very efficient, very fast machine, and you can toggle the settings to be as powerful as you want it to be. How about those of you who are like, that's easy, what about the more dense cataracts? So there's a mode on the machine that's called the occlusion mode. And what you do is you set a trigger on your vacuum. And once that trigger is reached, the machine will automatically increase your phaco power to another preset setting of yours. So in this case, it's a slightly denser lens. And I know at a certain point, I'm going to need a little bit more phaco. So I set it to occlusion modes. And when I reach the trigger, the pulse, the energy of phaco will jump from 30 to 60% on my personal settings. And in that way, I don't need to look at the machine, change my settings around. I don't need to do any of that. I stay in the same vacuum settings. And I know that once I reach that vacuum trigger, I'm going to get that extra shot of energy. And it's going to help me remove the lens efficiently. So in this next case, I felt that maybe the pulse wasn't going to be enough. It's a pseudo-exfoliation case. You have a small pupil. And I don't want to put any stress on the zonules on a relatively denser lens. So what I did is I set the machine into occlusion mode, but I told the machine, don't go into a higher pulse setting. I want you to go from pulse to burst mode when I'm in my quadrant setting. So here I adopt my stop and chop. And as you can see, I just have my phaco tip very close to my wound, very safe. I grab the piece, and whenever I reach that trigger, it goes from pulse to occlusion, and you'll see the pieces jump moving all around the eye. Here, my aspiration settings were a little high, but I'll even take my chopper out, full vacuum, very stable, very safe. Surgery went beautifully, clear cornea the next day, happy patient. How about if you don't want to mess around with your phaco settings and you just want to switch your pump settings? In this particular case, I had it on the Venturi mode to start. I was using my Venturi pump, and as you can see, I was eating away at the lens and not really being able to purchase it very well. So I go for the other side, and again, I'm not getting what I want as far as my Venturi pump. So instead of bowling it out and having to deal with something that could be a little bit more cumbersome, a click of the button, I've switched to my peristaltic. A lot safer in this situation. Here I have my peristaltic, it builds the vacuum, I just pull it out the quadrant, and done. This took a split of a second. Change your technique, no need to look at the machine, the person sitting next to you, one click, and you're done. So we talked about the different phaco modes. You can also, instead of just switching vacuum, you don't need to be in occlusion mode. While you're working there, you can switch from your pulse to your burst very easily. This case I remember very well. He's a monocular patient, and the reason he's monocular is he had bad cataract surgery in the first eye. So he waited too long for his right eye, and he was fighting me throughout the whole case. I'm trying to get the guy to not move his eye. So I'm going through and I'm on pulse mode here, and I'm realizing I'm trying to eat away at this piece. I'm using a little bit too much energy for my liking. I want this guy to have a clear cornea the next day. I don't want to be upset, think that his other eye is going to end up like the first one. So all I do is mid-case, switch it to burst mode, and now we're in business, and we're cooking with gas, and we're going very efficiently. Sure, you're going to debulk it with your chopper, especially with the Hasa Optics chopper, which does a lovely job. But here, I'm able to efficiently remove the lens, no stress. It definitely provides you with the phaco energy you need to do it very, very safely. So my takeaway messages from my first 6 months of experience with the Sophi machine is that it's predictable, the anterior chamber stability is excellent, and the different settings and modes gives you versatility while you're in the same case, without even having to look up. Most of the time when I'm going into a denser case, I just set it on occlusion mode, and I know exactly what's going to happen when I'm in there, with no concerns for any having to stop or extend my surgery time. So I'm going to let this video run out because it's my last one. And I hope that this is a very general overview of what the machine can do. It's just to introduce you onto the features that could be helpful in your institution as far as the day pack goes, the durability of it, and the easy interface to set it up. And as for you as a surgeon, all the different options you have with this machine when you're in your surgery.